Welcome to this week's Kindness Cafe podcast. Grab a cup of coffee, tea, or your favorite snack, relax, and join us for another uplifting story. I am Seema Raj, your host. This week's guest had a calling after her dear father passed away in 2017. She grew up in a big family and was so inspired by all of the wonderful memories she had of him, serving his friends, family, community, and especially feeding the less fortunate on a yearly basis. So, to honor him, she decided to carry on his legacy. And 4 years later, she has made a huge difference in so many people's lives. How did she do this? Well, let's welcome today's guest, Fernaz Heshampour Heckard, and find out. Welcome to Kindness Cafe, Fernaz, and thank you so much for joining us today. Wow, what determination and so gratifying for you. And I understand that you quit your full-time job to start this powerful journey. That is so admirable.
Hi, Seema. Thank you so much for having me on Kindness Cafe. I can tell you that what a great platform to share heart-touching stories and to spread kindness even more to others. And going back to your question, yes, I decided to quit my job and make my journey a priority when my father fell sick and admitted to the hospital. Because of my father, the decision to leave my full-time job was really easy for me. And until this day, I can tell you, Seema, it was truly worth it. And I do love your question, by the way, because I never thought in my wildest dreams that social media would have such a positive impact on my life. I started my journey by creating Facebook events to connect with others and get people involved in my mission, which is to serve the community in a variety of ways. I made so many friends from those events, and those friends also made new friends. This made me very happy.
Yes, indeed, Fernaz. Social media can definitely be a positive platform to showcase what we are doing and a great way to involve and inspire others as well. Positive networking is definitely the key. So tell me, what are some of the things you have done and are currently doing in the community to help others?
Thank you so much for that question. Well, pre-pandemic, Seema, I wanted to continue my father's legacy, so I invited my friends and family to serve the less fortunate at Franklin Park in DC and Georgetown Ministry. That event was inspired by my father, who would prepare meals and welcome the misfortunate into our home. As a young child, my father was such an honorable man and a great role model in my life, and that continued on before he passed. Anyone who had met my father loved his generosity and compassion for others. I've led few other groups and events such as hiking, women empowerment, pre-Valentine's Day in an effort to help people get connected. I was also involved in raising money for Nova, Arts of Autism, and Harley House, which is an organization for domestic violence and child abuse located in Frederick, Maryland. I'm currently leading a virtual prayer group on Tuesday mornings with 2 sessions, one starting at 6:30 a.m. and the following one at 7:30 a.m. I'm leading another group based on a book, Anger, Taming a Powerful Emotion by Gary Chapman. And that class is held Thursday evenings from 7 p.m. till 8:30 p.m.
Wow, Fernaz, so many different types of events, which means you have really touched the lives of so many different types of people out there. They are all so very interesting, but what I really want to know is what does your group on the book Anger discuss, and can it help people who may have some anger and frustration in them, especially during this time of unrest and uncertainty?
Absolutely. This is a great book, and it's got helpful resources, especially during this time where there is so much anger. We can learn so much from this book. It's a great communication tool on how to interact with one another when conflict shows up in our life and how to deal with our anger. This book also teaches us, Seema, how God has given us different types of emotions, and one of them being anger. We can't control a bodily reaction. However, what we could control is our mental and physical responses to anger. Unfortunately, the class started in January and will end March 25th. However, the great news is you can still purchase this on Amazon and study it on your own with ton of study guidelines at the end of each chapter.
This is very, very useful information for anyone who is frustrated and may need some guidance. Just dealing with the unexpected changes we all had to deal with and adapt to in our lives during COVID. One thing I have noticed in your journey, though, is that you have had so much diversity. And through this diversity, how have you inspired others to do acts of kindness?
Diversity, this is a great question. I believe inspiration happens when people feel comfortable with you. I hear from some of my closest friends that just by asking them if I can pray for them, it's changed the way their life and the way they think. And I hope I can have an impact through words of kindness and affirmations, especially during these tough times. As a human, we all want to be heard. So the least we could do is when someone is upset and wants someone else to hear their pain, instead of trying to fix their problem, ask them if you could pray for them while they're present with you or even on the phone. I love when someone did this for me, Seema, during a painful personal experience. So now I'm paying this forward.
Paying it forward, that is certainly a great way to help someone. And yes, I do personally believe that inspiration and trust are definitely tied together. Also, when people visually see you making a difference in someone's life through your own kind actions, you can definitely encourage them to do the same. And I have to say that although COVID has had a big impact on our day-to-day life, there are some positive things that have come out of it. It has really made people reassess their own lives and prioritize what is important to them. We have all witnessed that life can be so unpredictable, so we really should utilize every minute to turn a negative into a positive. And we can do that by spreading kindness. So having said that, Fernaz, I am sure that some of the people listening to us may want to get involved in one of your groups. How can they do that?
Thank you so much for asking that question. I am on social media, on Facebook, and available. So just add me on Facebook or send me a message, and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. My Facebook name is Farnaz Hashimpur Heckert.
Thank you so much, Fernaz, for putting yourself out there and reaching out to help others. And I am sure that through your many experiences, you have also learned a lot along the way. So I would like to ask you, is there any final message you would like to say to our audience?
Absolutely, Seema. Kindness to me, from what I've learned, it really doesn't cost us anything, but it does make our world such a better place to live. One of the greatest examples is to live life where it starts. It starts with your immediate family and your home. Live, love, and laugh. Because of how much I know I'm loved by God and my family, I dance and I sing like no one is watching me. So when I do this, my son says to me, "Mom, are you okay? You are crazy." Yes, indeed, it's a great message for your family to think that you are crazy just because. I am loved and I love others. And lastly, as my father used to say all the time, people are people. We can choose kindness and have a happier life, or to be unkind and make enemies. Choose kindness.
I completely agree, Fernaz, and I think the world would be a better and happier place if we had more crazy people like you in it. Happy, smiling, dancing, what a way to go. I cannot thank you enough for joining us today and sharing your story. It is amazing how the love you have had for your dear father lives on in you and has passed on to so many others. And the sacrifices you've made along the way leave me speechless. Hats off to you. I know your dear dad is blessing you from above every day so you can continue on with your selfless journey.
Seema, I can't thank you enough, really, for having me on this Kindness Cafe. You're platform is truly a blessing for so many listeners to hear their stories and be able to share their stories. I am grateful for this opportunity and I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. It is definitely a journey I am enjoying and so excited about. I also want to thank Gift of Kindness for giving me this opportunity. And with that, we want to thank all of our listeners for joining us today. And I request you all to give us your feedback on our podcast. We would love to hear from you. Next time, you will meet another unique guest and hear their inspiring story. And if any of you have an uplifting story to share, please do contact me directly so we can hear all about it together. And get out there and do your own act of kindness. I can guarantee it will put a smile on your face and on somebody else's too. So, until next time, stay safe, healthy, and remember, living is giving.